Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Scene Stealers. I'm your host, Ali Umstutz, and here today we have Russell Thompson.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, fair to middling.
My first question for you is, if someone was going to make your life into a movie, who would play you?
Who would play me?
Yes.
Percy Kilbride. You know who Percy Kilbride is?
No.
Ah, you're too young. You probably don't remember Ma and Pa Kettle. But Percy Kilbride played Pa Kettle.
Yes. Is there any directors or actors you look up to or aspire to be like?
Oh, that's a tough question. I look up to every actor, as everyone has their own individual talent that needs to be respected, no matter if they're just a background actor or a major actor. They all have talent. So I have to honestly say I look up to each and every one of the actors that I even work with. Directors-wise, that's another one, because the directors all have talent, and every one of them needs to be respected. So I can't say I have favorites that I enjoy watching and I take cues from, and the same with the directors and setting up the scenes and that I take cues from. But to say, that's my favorite, I can't say that. I don't have a particular favorite. All of them are my favorite.
All right. So what's the last thing you do before the director says action?
Ooh, the last thing I do take a deep breath for one. Okay, and basically real quick going through the lines that I'm going to be delivering. That's the last thing I do before I hear action.
There's, if you get any anxiety when you're on a set, is there anything you do like to calm yourself down in between takes or anything like that?
Are you familiar with the Serenity Prayer?
No.
Serenity Prayer says, let me change what can be changed, accept what can't be changed, and the wisdom to know the difference. That's paraphrased. So that's what I use. If I can't change it, that's cool. If I can change it, we'll do it. And then knowing the difference. Most of the time, I can't change it.
How old were you when you wanted to start acting?
13. I was 13 years old, and I auditioned for what they used to call summer stock. It was they had a tour come through my hometown of Columbus and Ohio, and it was for State Fair. And I auditioned to be one of the kids running around the fairgrounds and got accepted. Fell in love with acting. And then a year later, I got accepted for a part in Midsummer's Night Dream with the Ohio State University crew. And even solidified more my wanting to get into acting, and then the world took over. And learned a lot of other things.
How did you find your first acting job?
Really, I found my first acting job. It was kind of funny because I had a friend of mine at 13, said, "I've seen this in the newspaper. Let's go try out." It was a tryout at that time. It wasn't called an audition. It was a tryout. Let's go try out, and we did. I got accepted, and he didn't. But it was out of a newspaper ad. That's how I found out about it. Hadn't thought anything about it before. I was too busy doing other stuff.
And she was the deputy's wife. What was your role, and did you have issues with your character?
Okay, in the deputy's wife, I played the grouchy old, or not the grouchy old, I played the rancher. Ended up getting knocked off being kickoff for what occurred later. That was rather an interesting circumstance because I got called last minute to do that particular part. And I grew up on a farm, and I had dealt with a lot of old ranchers, and so I had a little bit of a reference to go on as far as how they would act and how they would sound. So that's what I went on, and used that my life experience to build the character that I portrayed in the film.
What role would you love to do given the chance?
Henry II in The Lion and Winter. It's my favorite movie, absolutely favorite movie. Peter O'Toole played the part, and Katharine Hepburn played the female lead. But if I would to be able to choose a part that I would like to do, it would have been Henry I in The Lion and Winter. It was just a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, go on YouTube, go and watch The Lion and Winter. That's from the early 60s.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, please do. And if that one wouldn't work out, I'd take Sean Connery's role in The Man Who Would Be King. That's another oldie. I mean, get a chance to check that one out. Or Charles Lawton and Mutiny on the Bounty. Mr. Christian! I think that'd be a good one.
So, in the movie All We Have, I heard when you were playing the mortician, you were in a room filled with actual dead bodies. Did that affect your acting in any way?
Actually, there weren't any dead bodies in the room, but it was an actual, the actual room where they did the preparing the bodies. It was in the back of a mortuary, and it was that actual room. And no, it didn't affect my worrying about it. I was worried about tickling the actress that was laying on the table there, and it was that was an interesting shoot. Fortunately, I didn't tickle her. I guess I did, but I was worried about doing it and doing it correctly.
Yeah.
I'd never been a mortician before.
Pretty sure that'd be interesting if there were actual bodies there, just to make it a little bit more, like, harder to act, I guess.
Well, in a way, for me, it probably wouldn't have, because I am a combat vet, and I spent combat in Vietnam, and I've seen a lot of bodies. A lot, way too many from that. So, actually seeing a dead body doesn't affect me as much as it would have somebody else. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I've been around it a lot.
Have you ever wanted to make your own film?
No.
Oh.
No. I'll act in it, I'll have fun with it, but that is a lot of work, a lot of responsibility to put that thing together. Yes, I have had ideas of this might make a good movie, this might make a good movie, but maybe I'll write it out into a script. But no, I'm going to let somebody else do it. That's too much work for me.
You said something about writing your own scripts. Have you ever acted in something that you wrote?
Yes. Yeah, that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago. That's got to be 60 years ago. That we didn't have cameras like you guys have got now. 8 millimeters that we used to play with. But yeah, 60 years, about right.
I was wondering, have you ever done any stage acting or wanted to be in front of a live audience?
Yes, I have done stage acting. I acted, like I said, in Summer Stock with, that was Joel McCrae, and that brought that into town. that I did, and the Midsummer's Night Dream was stage acting, and then stage on a couple of high school plays. Love stage. I love to do the boards, but film is so much more interesting. Board work where you have your set, it's all set up, and you go out and you present your lines, and you have to build with yourself and with your character and with your body what people are perceiving. In the films, the director is doing that with the way he's setting the camera, the way he's setting the lighting, builds a lot of the mood around what your character is doing, even though you're bringing that character into the film itself. On the boards, all that groundwork and setting the cameras and doing the sound, that all comes from you. And I do enjoy doing live theater.
Have you ever worked with child actors or animals, and what complications came with that on set?
I cannot say I have worked with animals or child on set. Not take that back, horses. And horses bring in a dynamic of their own. They are the orneriest things. And if you watch a horse and a horse is playing for the camera, some of them will. You can see in their eyes that they're playing for the camera, and they know they're on the camera, especially if they've been in films before, and they'll act up. But just don't let them upstage yet.
What has been your favorite role so far that you have done?
My favorite role so far is the one that's coming out with The Righteous 12. The storekeeper in that is probably the favorite. Second favorite is the deputy's wife. There's a few others that fall into favorite type things, and every one of them is favorite. I mean, how can you not like any role? You know, how can you say, "Oh, this is my favorite"? Yeah, my favorite was of the ones that I've done here recently has been the mercantile storekeeper in Righteous 12, which is coming out in July. You know that.
Yes.
Avondale Pictures. Yeah, you know.
Yep, Avondale Pictures.
Chuck owes us for that one.
Yep. Have you ever won an award for a film you were in?
The first film when I got into acting after I retired from the hospitality industry was a student film for a student over here at U of A. And it actually won 6 awards. And so far there's a lot of them that have been submitted for awards, but the ones that have won have been that first one that I did, and that was about 6 years ago that I did that.
Have you ever traveled outside of the country for a film?
No, I have not. I've traveled outside the country for Uncle Sam, but I have not traveled outside the country for a film yet. Will I? Depends.
That totals 832. Did you need anything else?
Yeah, you can sell me a winning lottery ticket.
If you think I could produce that, would I be working here?
Well, probably not. I've had a really, really rough time here, and just even the slightest, teeniest, tiniest jackpot would just help out so much.
You and me both.
Yeah, well, that's the way it is. Life is kind of mean.
Tell you what, I'll buy you a lottery ticket today.
What? You go do what?
I'll buy you a lottery ticket.
You don't have to do that.
Well, I'm going to.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's so nice, so nice. I don't even have a coin to scratch this with. You got one I can use?
Yeah, right here.
Oh,
Hold it.
super. Wow, you didn't have to do this. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no problem.
Oh, look at it. 50. Oh,
You've got some good
Yeah.
luck.
well, there's 20.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. 5. What? What?
What is it?
$50,000.
Fifty?
Can you believe that? 50,000. Oh my God, it's $50,000. I just got $50,000. Oh.
You could have offered to split it! Man. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Thank you also for coming out. It was a ton of fun having you here. No idea who will be in the next one, but that'll be coming out soon as well. I hope you guys have a good day or night, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!